Right, well, key things to think about are sort of trying to get the lighting
Yeah,
throughout,
you know about that.
but you're doing that at the end, presumably. I think some of your transitions need looking at, and timing of shots. Because you've got people that are sort of starting to run rather than mid-run, and do you know what I mean? You need to be into the shot before you cut to it, seems to me. And the transitions are a bit laborious somehow. I don't know whether you want to change. What are you thinking of doing then?
I'm doing like the transitions I'm doing later as I'm going to do. We're also going to put in sound effects as well. So.
What are you thinking though? Some crossfades?
Yeah,
or
we're doing that.
dips, right, okay, yeah. There's quite a lot of, at the moment, aimless running. Which I don't really get what they're running from, or
during the actual bit where we're being watched, there's going to be a sound effect of someone breathing. So that shows that we're being watched as in
right.
The running doesn't look urgent though, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like anyone's scared. You know, it looks like, you know, they might be sort of messing about before something happens, but I don't know. Is it meant to be like they're scared and they're running away?
I think we need to include a bit a shot of the killer in it, so
I think
they
you need to
understand what they what they're running from.
It needs to be run. You know, you can chop into the shot with something to let us know that that's what they're running from, and then the running won't look so laborious. It just looks like some of them, they're running, you know, aimlessly around. So I think that needs looking at. One of the titles, can't read it.
What title?
It's very small.
Oh, it just says blank screen because we need to put them in yet.
So you need to obviously think about how long they're on, because there's a couple of groups we've seen that they're not on long enough and you can't get a sense of what the title's about. So so think about that timing of that as well, enough reading time. I think there's probably not enough horror in there at the moment. I can't really tell, you know, there's not enough, because it's a teaser. What are we being teased about at the moment? I'm not sure.
The knife dropping.
Because that knife shot, I mean, you all laughed, which isn't the reaction you need to get from that knife shot as well. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be like real shot.
I think it's you could probably work with that knife shot, but it's too long. You can see you come down on it and then stop.
Wait.
You know, it don't go anywhere. If you cut it while it's still coming down, then it'll look more effective.
Definitely. So that's to do with your timing and transitions again. It's coming in later to the shots and finishing earlier. Do you know what I mean? But then you need more shots.
Yeah, we do need more shots.
Because then you've got more time to fill. Do you know what I mean? But then if you're leaving your titling on a bit longer and coming in and out, I mean, I think that's maybe another thing you can do, because you've just used a shot with the title on. Can you make that animated in any way? So, you know, we're zooming into it or out of it or something. That would look more interesting, I think, perhaps.
When it kicks in.
So I think you've only got one actual title, or two of you. Three. So maybe use something like movement in
You
there.
can't do anything.
Fiona, do you recommend we have a voiceover on our on the tagline? We have recorded something, but we don't know whether to put it in, whether it'll clash with our the music.
I mean, there is conventional to have a voiceover, or some diegetic sound, which you haven't really got. Have you got any more diegetic? I mean, there's a little bit, isn't there, where
We've got the
saying something.
Beth, when he's shouting Beth.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
I mean, you could. It'd be worth putting it in and having a look. You can always take it out again, can't you? But it is conventional to have a voiceover, and it's one of the elements they look at, the sound. It doesn't generally fight with the soundtrack.
Is it an E or is it a pass?
Is it a pass? Yes, it's a pass. I mean, there's bits and gaps in it, but if it's like that, I'm not sure. There's too many gaps in it. What have we got for the gaps?
It's all that Chelsea only said though, the cast name.
It's the naming which is being done.
It's the cast name.
So there's no more shots to go in?
No.
There
It
is.
should be a knife drop. It should be the knife drop. Where it has knife drop.
I think we need to incorporate the killer in it.
I think you're right.
You see them there? We don't know what it is.
I think it's the horror that's lacking for me. There's not enough shock, horror, nastiness. It's sort of, there's a little bit of blood on someone's hand, and then there's, people running, but you need to get some nasty things in there.
Ryan, we should stab each other.
But you can do some abstract nasty things. It doesn't have to be in that location. You can do really close shots of, something. Blood dripping, taps dripping, things that increase the tension. Do you know what I mean? That you can keep coming in and out of.
Do you think we need?
Shop in, see your shots.
Do you think we need any more like camera shots, like different types? I think we've got quite a lot of pans, I think, of people running.
I'd say so. I'd say it needs to be snappier. Again, if you've not got any more shots left, I think that you're sort of going to be pushing it. Some of the shots are already a little bit too long. You could do just like chopping them up and maybe getting something else in there. Like I said, whether it's shots of the killer or whatever, which you could do with more of, I don't know. But another thing is that it seems to start very quick. You've got your is it production logo, and then it starts. You could do with just fading that in slowly, just to sort of get you into the trailer, whereas it just begins. So that's just one other thing that I noticed at the start.
Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand the story?
I understand that there's a group of people that something's happening to and they're running away in a wood. I don't know whether I get any more than that, really.
No, but that's not unusual for a horror trailer. It doesn't always make sense. For it to be a horror genre, all you need to know is that something bad's going to happen, and you do get that sense. But
it's the sort of foreboding we need to feel a bit more about. What is it that's there, and maybe restrictive points of view of things from the killer. It doesn't have to be necessarily in that location. It might be him preparing to go to that location in somewhere else.
Yeah, we were thinking of having one indoors of just the killer in black looking at newspaper articles or something like that.
Yeah, all of that,
But we don't know who's the killer. The killer just be loud on us.
So well, it doesn't matter. It could be. I showed a group this opening of 7 yesterday, which is just all really tight framing close-ups, and there's this guy. You can see his fingers. He's got a needle. He's got tweezers. He's taking bits of newspaper cuttings. And, do you know what I mean?
Nice guy hands.
That sort of thing. It might be sort of blood drips. It might be It might be somebody that cuts themselves and there's blood. Do you know what I mean? Just really sort of slightly not grisly, but things that think, this is a bit weird. Do you know what I mean? So you can go from an interior to that, and then you sort of connect that this person here is perhaps the person, and then that could work. But you need to think it through, otherwise what you don't want is that one bit looks completely alien to the next bit. And I think your theme has got to be some leaves. It's got to have some leaves inside. It might be, it might be leaves that he's got inside and he's scattering over the newspaper cuttings, or I don't know, cutting the leaves up or into faces or shapes or something weird. Do you know what I mean?
He talks to leaves.
Talks to leaves. Okay. Well, if you have him doing things with leaves,
so he can't hurt them. Can't cut them up.
Oh right.
He might
be putting them in a shape of a a fate, like a.
Yeah. If we were to add all this stuff in, saying, we wouldn't get marked down for changing the storyboard too much, would we?
Well, no, because we've now looked at feedback and now we know we need to add to the storyboard. But it'd be a good idea if you plan the next phase of it. Even if it's not drawn, it's just a list of shots you want to add in.
Yeah.
I don't know what else really.
No, it's hard to pin down really, but I think it needs a bit more.
It needs more shots. That's lacking. That's the thing.
Yeah, and like I think you said that before, just more of the killer, or just something that sort of insinuates that what the killer's about to do or what he's doing. It's just there's not enough of that. There needs too much of, you know, the
Running.
the before. After.
It's all running, running, looking around.
Yeah, which is fine if you've got something else to add into that. But a lot of the timing things will improve it, and the lighting things onto your titling in, and then this will enhance it even more. But I think you need to get your heads together to work out what that extra bit could be.
The deadline's next Thursday, isn't it?
Yes,
For
you haven't got long.
When's the one for the poster?
Same. Everything's next
They
Thursday.
started
D
with
Day.
poster.
Yeah. So that's
Oh, wow.
another one to add into the mix.
I'm gonna die.